Well, here's an interesting update for you. Now, this is shocking. Listen to this. Yes, Batman was going to have underwater scenes in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And Batfleck even trained for months. James Gunn decided to cut all of these scenes upon assuming the presidency of DC. Yes, Ben Affleck had an important role in the last act of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and was going to wear an Atlantean suit to be able to resist attacks from adversaries. What does this say? In the last act of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Batfleck was going to fight underwater against one of the villains with everything, and Batmobile showing that the vehicle was amphibious. James Gunn ordered Ben removed from the film, and now another character will appear. Well. If you're not a fan of James Gunn, you're certainly not going to be a fan of James Gunn after that. Look, that would have been awesome. And this is the problem, because they've been making so many changes to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And this is why James Wan's been complaining about not being able to keep up with all the changes, and he's had to do reshoots yet again. Now we know why. Imagine that. Batfleck underwater wearing protective gear like we've seen in the animated DC series and movies Batman doing as well. We've seen that kind of thing in Batman the Brave and the Bold animated series. It's my favourite Batman animated series as well. And so I'm very angry about this. I'm very disappointed about this. And you have to ask the question, why? Well, because James Gunn wanted to use these films to launch his own universe. Because he only wanted to do a soft reboot and not a full reboot, whether it's him or Zaslav, this is why Ben was cut. Now, originally, Michael Keaton was in this film. He had to be cut once they decided to cut the plan that Hamada had ready for Keaton to be part of the new timeline. So once they cut Keaton out of the new timeline, Abby and DeLuca decided to call on Ben Affleck because they were going to restore the Snyderverse of it all. Not necessarily doing Justice League 2 and 3, but bringing back the Snyderverse characters to the DCEU, reversing the cancellation of Affleck and Cavill. And we were going to get some good shit. If you're a fan of what James Wan did with the first Aquaman, this would have been really exciting. And, you know, at the end of the day, all James Gunn had to do was start from scratch when he did his universe. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to do a soft reboot and not a full reboot. I warned about this at the time. If you're asking me if this is true, I believe that it is, because I heard something similar to this. Now, of course, why there's lots of truth to this as well, we remember the day Jason Momoa excitingly had Ben Affleck on set, and basically in Jason's trailer, he did a really excitable selfie with Ben Affleck, hyping it all up. That's when that's when Abby and DeLuca were making their changes. They decided to put Henry Cavill in the post-credit scene of Black Adam. They were bringing Batfleck back. Clearly, Batfleck wanted to come back, or he wouldn't have done it. It would have been really exciting. But they messed the whole thing up. Now, the Flash was damaging anyway, even with Batfleck there, because look what they did with the Lasso of Truth and things like that. I mean, it's cringeworthy, but this sounds really awesome. And the people who wrote Lost Kingdom are not the people who wrote the Flash movie. The Flash movie was written by 3 or 4 different people. I think even more than that. We don't even know what Christina Hodson did and what she didn't do in that movie. But it's utterly disappointing, and WB right now are in a mess. If we can just skip very quickly, I want you to understand something. that Warner Brothers Discovery are on the verge of receivership. Now, I discussed this on my earlier video, and I'll say it again, that they're trying to make a $500 million deal with Sony to sell off their musical ownerships. For example, lots of film music, loads of ordinary music, and so they're not selling their characters or their film divisions right now. But, you know, this is what Zaslav has been brought in to do. This all started, this is not on Zaslav, not totally. This all started just at the end of Time Warner's reign. Then AT&T bought the company. They were in a financial meltdown. They ran the company into the ground, and then Zaslav pretty much came in to sell the lot, piece by piece, little by little. It's a very sad time for me. As sad and as pathetic as that sounds, you know, Warner Brothers has given me some of the best memories of my life, and to think very soon it most probably won't even exist is very sad. What happens to DC? I have no idea. But stuff like this, when you hear exciting stuff like this, and you hear that James Gunn deleted it, there was no need. You could have just started again from scratch, and you're not going to win any fans by doing stuff like that.